Hello. All right. Let me just turn my volume up just a little bit. All right. So again, finally, good afternoon. So sorry for the delay, for the technical problems, and thank you for holding on. Thank you for waiting. All right. So for those of you who've just arrived, my name is Paola in Italian. It's Paola in English, and I'm going to be your teacher this afternoon. All right, for the next couple of hours, and we'll be breaking in an hour's time for 5 minutes, and then we'll start again. All right, so what I'm going to do to start off is share my screen with you. I've prepared a PowerPoint I think you will like. It's going to be a lot easier for you to follow. All right, so bear with me just a couple of minutes. All right. Just have to find it because I had to change computer, so it's not going to be easy. All right. Oh my goodness, I don't know where it is. Oh, too bad. That's too bad. Here it is. I think I found it. Here, I got it. All right. Okay, so I hope you will be able to see this.
Yes. Yes, we
Oh,
see.
finally. Thank you for saying yes. It's very comforting. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. So here we are. We're going to start. And as you can see, this is our first headline. It says booking and accommodations, which, as I was telling you before, is going to be the head of the conversation of this afternoon. All right. So today's lesson takes into consideration what to say in English to a customer who wants to make sure his trip is going to be a success, right? So as you can see here, there's a rent-a-car, online booking, travel, flights, hotels, and tours. It says welcome. Welcome to all of you, all right? These are clue words for you. And of course, what are we talking about? We're talking about renting cars based on destination of the traveler, whatever his destination might be, possibly renting from different agencies. So again, trying to dodge from one agency to the other, trying to work their way around the companies. Sometimes it's not easy for them, right? So they turn towards you, of course, right? And then we have online booking. Many people prefer online booking, and many people don't trust online booking, which I guess is one of the reasons why they turn to an agency. All right. And then, as you can see, we have flights, the best flight offers, which is more comfortable, which is more attentive to the client's needs so that they can have a good flight. A good trip starts from a good flight, I would say. Then, as you can see, we have hotels. So again, we're going to speak about different accommodations that offer many facilities, from the gym to the hairdressers to the pool, or again, depending on the stars. So, of course, talking about the quality of the hotels. We're going to talk about tours, how to attract the public into buying tours. And of course, it's not an easy job, which is, of course, your job. It's nice to have the opportunity of touring the city thoroughly in a complete manner. Not only the monuments, not only the museums, but also the famous landmarks. So, very important, of course, the different offers that you have for tours. All right, so welcome everyone. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off right away speaking about professional practice and making calls. Identify yourself when you're on the phone. Hello, this is Jane Easton from Western Travel. Asks for the person you want to speak to. Could you put me through to Clara, please? All right. Again, different ways of calling and asking for the client. I'd like to speak to Clara, please. Hello, this is Jane Easton. So again, stating who you are and the travel agency you're working for. All right. Remember to explain why you're calling. How can you do this? You can say, I'm calling about, for example, the Lange holiday on page 4 of our brochure, right? Maybe you have different brochures, different tour opportunities, and maybe you're calling back. And so maybe you're trying to get to her, maybe she's not there, maybe you have to leave a message. So in case you have to leave a message, remember to leave your name, of course, and just say, please call. That's all you have to do is say, please call, and then you enter your name and your phone number. All right. So very, very easy to do. And of course, the trick is to sound as professional as possible. All right. So while I'm going through this, if you have any questions, please feel free to write down on the chat. I'm sure you're very used to using this kind of app. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to write down on the chat. All right. Here we are. Next one up, professional practice. All right, we've got telephone inquiries. Now, let's say you're on the phone, which is completely different, of course, from having the opportunity of meeting the client or the tourist face to face, right? So these are, again, telephone inquiries. These phrases are useful when answering the telephone. All right. Of course, first off, you introduce yourself and you offer your assistance. And so, for example, again, you could say, good afternoon, Western Travel, Janet speaking. How can I help you? How can I be of service? All right. Different ways of saying the same thing using different sentences. How can I help you? How can I be of service? What can I help you with today? All right. And here, of course, the trick is to be enthusiastic and try some sentences like, that's a very good time to go. Or we have a great offer at the moment. So, depending on the different offers that you have for your clients, your customers, right? Make sure you get all the information and check the details, especially when you're speaking in English. Sometimes it's kind of tricky, right? Sometimes it can happen, you hang up, and then you think, oh dear, do I have all the details? Maybe I have to call back. So, once again, feel free to use these sentences, which are very easy and straightforward. For example, can I have the name of the people traveling, please? Right? So again, the names of the people that are going to be traveling. And could you spell your surname for me, please? Maybe you need to get the spelling correct, right? So once again, feel free to ask in a very simple manner. Can you spell your name for me, please? Could you spell your surname for me, please? And maybe you just need to ask for more details. So I'll need to check the details. And once again, don't be afraid to say in English, is that correct? Have I said it correctly? Have I spelt it correctly? Because, of course, it's important. It's important detail. All right. We're going to continue with some examples if you want. We've got some examples. For example, we have fly and dry. And I thought we could look at this together. As we can see from the image, we have an elderly couple. They're driving in a beautiful cabriolet car and they're visiting some castles. Fly and Dry seems to be very interesting for everyone lately. And so I thought we would look at some sentences that can be useful for you. All right. We have very nice Fly and Dry packages, for example. So when you need to sell and to catch the customer's interest, it's very nice to say packages. We have different packages, all right, which means different kinds of trips. Enjoy scenic drives and accessible trips. So once again, why do people rent cars? Why do people enjoy these kinds of trips instead of maybe tours with other means of transport, which could be the train, which could be the bus? Much easier with the fly and drive, much more independent, right? So complete freedom in traveling without having to wait for the bus or for the train. And as an operator, you are a seller, and therefore you need to lure, attract the tourists' interest. So here we have some sentences. Enjoy scenic drives and accessible trips. We're offering a tour of Cuneo's 10 castles. 10 castles, of course, famous 10 castelli around Cuneo. So it's very nice to be able to capture the tourists' attention with different landscapes and different tours that maybe are less common, but all the same very interesting. Nonetheless, the 10 castles in the Cuneo's regions. For example, you could say there's a wine tasting in the Loire region. Again, wine tasting seems to be a kind of new interest in the tourists, and so maybe this could be quite interesting as well. What kind of car would you like to rent? So, are you the one renting the cars? Maybe a customer doesn't know which agency they should turn to. So maybe they ask for your advice. Uh, would you be willing to help them out? Which kind of agency should they turn to? Maybe they're unsure and they want to ask you to do it for them. So, what kind of car would you like to rent? An economic car, a luxurious car, like the one that we can see right now, right? What kind of car? We can call the car rental for you. That's a good suggestion. We can call the car rental for you and ask for special prices. And again, um, you could ask this question in many different ways, and we can take care of booking a car for you, right? So that the customer doesn't have to worry about getting there and renting for a car. We can assure you a GPS on your car. Maybe they're a little bit worried. They don't know. For example, maybe you have a UK tourist. UK tourists usually drive on the left hand, so maybe they feel unsure, and you have the possibility of reassuring them. Don't worry. There's a GPS in your car. You have, for example, full gas tank and unlimited mileage. Unlimited mileage means that you can drive everywhere and the kilometers will not be counted, in the assumption of renting a car. So I believe fly and drive is a very nice way of traveling, especially in the Cuneo region with our large roads. All right. Next up, nature cycling bike tour around Cuneo. Now, I thought this would be interesting to look at. Of course, we have many athletes coming to this region, which could be very interesting to see. What could be some questions that you can ask our athletes, right? So let's look at a typical conversation between an operator and the athletic tourist in question, right? So, of course, we all know what we have to ask in Italian, but let's look at it in English, all right? Let's make it as easy as possible. For example, of course, do you have your own bike, right? Are you coming down with your own bike? Or do you have to rent a bike? What kind of bike you would like? Now it's very much e-bike. It's very much e-bike, road bicycle, or an MTB. And of course, as you know, e-bikes need to be plugged in for recharge. So it would be also very nice to be able to tell the client or your customer or your tourist where he can plug in for his or her e-bike. We have wonderful tours in Cuneo. A road bicycle, maybe? Why not? Or an MTB with special cycling routes, special trails around Cuneo. We will get much more into that in um, other lessons we will have later on. Do you need to transport it by hold baggage? So, as you know, maybe the customer has their own bicycle and they really don't want to leave it behind. They've been training on that bicycle and they're going to bring it with them. So, for this reason, they have to put it by hold baggage in their flight. So, how much is this going to cost them? Economically wise speaking, is it worthwhile? Is it too expensive? Or is it cheap enough to be able to transport by hold their personal bicycle, right? A bus service is at your disposal for luggage transport. This is a wonderful sentence because if you're an athlete, as you well know, you have your luggage, you don't know what to do with your luggage, your mileage is done on two wheels, and where do you leave your luggage? So if the customer should ask, what can I do for the transportation of my luggage? Well, there you go. I know this by experience and also from some of my friends. While they're touring with their bicycle, they have a bus service at their disposal. So, lovely, lovely sentence. A bus service is at your disposal for luggage transport. They bring your luggage from your departure to your arrival. This is another sentence which is kind of cute. The Via del Sale is expecting numerous athletes this year. You should visit the historical landmarks on your trail. All right. Um, as you well know, Via del Sale here in Cuneo is something quite special. And it's nice to be given the opportunity of participating to these young athletes. So this is, I thought I'd put that in there, a sentence for you. Again, the Via del Sale is expecting numerous athletes this year, all right? Just to encourage everyone to participate, all right? You should visit the historical landmarks on your trail. What are the historical landmarks? Well, maybe something mysterious. Maybe they're monuments. Again, famous landmarks are, for example, places in the city that, as the word says, which is a compound word, land and marks. In Italian, I think that's punti di ritrovo. All right. So maybe you can find that on your trails. Wonderful. Think wonderful tours to be able to tour by bike. What a wonderful idea. All right. Are you planning on resting halfway? So maybe the traveler wants to stop. Maybe the traveler wants to stop halfway. Different kinds of accommodations there for you. And of course, you know this much better than I do. Hotels, motels, bed and breakfast. What am I leaving behind? How about shafts? Shafts in the mountains, maybe. Uh, Tents and what else, right? So maybe they have the intention of going to a mountain shaft up in the mountains, and maybe you can help them with that, right? Quite the adventure with the bike tour opportunities around the world. Very, very nice. Would you be interested in a mountain lodge? Well, there you go. Once again, different kinds of accommodations. Would you be interested in is a lovely introduction to a sentence, right? Based on the destination. Would you be interested in going to, for example, and then you proceed in finishing with the expansion of your sentence, all right? Here's a list of bike shops, for instance. All right. I know you're having difficulty maybe seeing the last page there, unfortunately. But it says, I'm going to read it out loud for you. It says, here's a list of bike shops for assistance. Now, of course, when you're traveling, whether it be fly and drive, renting a car, you do need to have assistance just in case the car breaks down. The same thing, of course, goes for the two wheels. So just giving them a list of the bike shops which can give you assistance is a wonderful thing. All right. I hope these sentences are useful for you. I hope you find this interesting. And what we're going to do is we're going to proceed. And here we are. So this time around, we're going to look at different tours. And I came across this not so long ago. And as you can see, there are different kinds of tours, different kinds of tours. Full day custom private tour from Nice to Dolciacqua and Sanremo, Italy. And as you can see here, it says Nice, France. So we're looking at the destination, approximately how long the tour could be. I think that's quite interesting. It's quite detailed if you look at it. All right. So let's just take a couple of minutes to look at it more into detail. All right. Okay. So once again, we have right underneath the title, we have the destination, but we have how long the tour is for. We have also the possibility of the mobile ticket. The mobile ticket is, of course, the possibility of buying a ticket online while you have your mobile phone, while you're touring, and you want to buy a tour ticket, and so you can you can keep with your mobile phone. You have the possibility of buying it right there, right at the moment. You also have good for avoiding crowds. And of course, that's a point of interest. I mean, good for avoiding crowds means that you don't have to stand in a queue for a very long time. A queue is a line, right? So I think this is quite interesting as a full day tour. As you can see on the right, you have hotel picked up offered. Hotel picked up offered, which means that you have, of course, also the possibility of calling your accommodations plan and asking them if they could kindly pick you up where you're at, and that would be your means of transport just in case you are on foot, just in case the customer is on foot. All right. Right there, right underneath, it says offered in English or two more. Again, this is quite interesting. They're telling you that you have the possibility of um, choosing the tour operator in which language he can show you around. All right, there you go. So again, if you look at the top, you have private sightseeing tours, sightseeing and cruises, sightseeing tours. Once again, so many different opportunities. But the nail of the question is, how long is the destination? So when they call you, what do they want to know? How long does the tour last? Do I have the possibility of buying a ticket, a mobile ticket? Um, what are the different places we can go to? And do I also have the possibility of asking the hotel to pick me up just in case it's been a hard day and I'm on foot? All right. So it is now 3:30, and all right, so I would just like to show you the next slide before we break. All right, I hope that's all right with you. And here we are, because this is the second half of the different tours I would like to show you. And this is actually quite daily. In fact, I believe the price is in euros, and it's new. So here we are. On the left, you have a list of the different tours. You have all nice tours, art and culture, which is always very attractive, classes and workshops, food and drink, outdoor activities, seasonal and special occasions, which is always wonderful. Tickets and passes are interesting. Again, there's a list, and I think you can all use the different sentences we saw before. So again, if someone calls you, is interested, what can you say? They call you and they say, hello, I'd be very interested in a private day trip. What do you have to offer? Well, for example, we have the French Riviera by minivan. Would that interest you? Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm not interested in the minivan tour. Do you have anything else to offer? Well, yes, of course. We have many different tours in mind, many different packages. For example, we have a province countryside full day, which is a private tour from Nice. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I would really love a private tour. Of course, it makes the customer feel special, right? And maybe it's a little bit more expensive. Well, not too much so. If you look down at the difference, it's the same price, same price. They all go around the same price. So how much does the province countryside full day private tour from Nice cost? How much does it cost? The price is 690 euro. Per group. Per group. All right. How long does a tour last? Your answer could be the tour lasts about 8 hours. And if anything goes wrong, there's also free cancellation. All right, which is very interesting. When you're touring, maybe you're tired, maybe you've changed your mind. You don't want to tour anymore. You don't want to do this tour. Maybe the tour is too expensive. So there's a free cancellation, a free policy. All right. Um, let's look at the last one. Day trips. Private day trips in province is a wonderful example as well. Countryside by minivan, once again, tricky. Not everyone likes minivans. It's just an example, of course. Apart from minivans, maybe there are other solutions to take into consideration, other means of transport. This costs a little bit less, 614 and 8 euros per group once again. So very, very interesting things right now on the market. Thanks to all of you, of course. And that's it. So I think the trick is to keep it simple and straightforward, um, which I think is always the best solution. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to break. We're going to break and we will be back in about 5 minutes' time. All right. Thank you for your attention. Bye bye. See you in a bit. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Hello. All right.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for joining me once again. And I hope you like what you're seeing. I hope you're enjoying this lesson. Again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to write it down in the chat, and I will be checking for those questions at the end of this hour. All right. So once again, what we're going to do is continue with the documentation I prepared for you, and I'm going to share my screen. So here we go. All right. I hope everyone can see this. Yep. Very good. All right. So this time around, what we're going to do is we're going to, I'm guessing we have trouble with my screen. Is that okay? Yeah. All right. All right. So let me see. Let's just get it onwards. Here we are. All right. So, restaurants and reservations. Wow. Okay. Big thing. It's a big thing, and it's changing. It's changing. Many tourists are not willing to leave home without having their reservations already done. It just makes their trip so much easier and so much more relaxing for them to be able to get to a new destination and to make sure they're going to have a wonderful time. And of course, when we talk about food, we're talking about the culture and the traditions of the destination they're going to, right? So here we are. Can a tour operator book the restaurant for a customer? Well, yes, of course. Yes, why not? So there's a conversation here right in front of us. Let's look at it. All right. Uh, English phone conversation. Customer, hello. I'd like to book a table, please. So I'd like to make a reservation. I'd like to book a table. It's the same thing. It means the same thing. So you can get these two sentences. It's good for you to know they mean the same thing. Certainly. When would you like it for? For Thursday evening at 7 p.m. All right. Thursday evening, March 25th. It says March 25. Usually the numbers are ordinary numbers. So we usually add the TH, which is the order, right? So March 25th. For how many people? Maybe it's a tour. So, of course, the numbers will be different in that case. Will be for 2 children. So, in this case, if you're calling for the customer, I'm calling for a specific customer. I'm calling for a specific customer. So it's going to be a tour. I would like a big table for 54 people, which is usually the number on a tour bus, more or less, right? Certainly, sir, or certainly, ma'am. What name should I book it under? Or what agency should I say? Or what's the name of the tour? What's the name of the tour? Stephens or Stevens. This name is pronounced in 2 ways. And you can say this is Stephens. The spelling there is good to know. Stephens, right. When they write right, or when they tell you right on the phone, it's a sign of approval. All right. Can I also have a contact number? Yes, of course. What they want is a number just in case something goes wrong or maybe the tour is late. Sure, it's 56 98 400 and 777. So that's a table for 4. Again, the host is going back once again, making sure that what he heard is correct. So that's a table for 4 for Thursday evening, March 25th. And there you go. As you can see, the TH at 7. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. You're welcome. Or thank you, agency. And you're welcome. My pleasure. All right. So here you are, right? Very, very nice to be able to book for a customer. The different reservations in a restaurant. All right. Managing a booking, different sentences we looked at up to now. Let's look at them once again. How can I help you? How can we say that in a different way? Maybe we could say, how can I be of help? Nice to meet you. How can I help you? How can I be of help? Where do you want to go? Well, that's quite straightforward. We could also use maybe a modal verb. Where would you like to go? What destination were you thinking of? When were you planning on leaving? So again, the dates of departure and the dates of arrival. What kind of vacation are you looking for? As we can see, as we've seen up to now, different kinds of vacations. Wow, so many. So what kind of vacation are you looking for? If you have in front of you maybe a couple or a family, your experience will tell you that families look for different vacations than couples. So maybe a quiet resort is better than a camping resort. I have many different offers to show you. That's a lovely sentence. I think it puts customers at ease. Please follow me. I have many different offers to show you. I'm sure you will find something interesting for you. Which plane company do you prefer? Well, that's a tricky one. I think every one of us has their favorite flight company. So trying to understand which one they rather fly with, or which one maybe they really want to avoid, right? So there you are. Which plane company do you prefer flying with? All right. We have many different accommodations. The different accommodations, as we said before, we named the different kinds of accommodations. You need to rent a car. Once again, if you're interested in the fly and drive kind of trip. Would you like an insurance on your trip? Right now, of course, the situation in our lives is pretty tricky, and customers are often more at ease with an insurance. And so maybe you would like to ask them, would you like an insurance on your trip? Feel free to call me if you have any questions. Of course, up till then, probably many things have been said, and you really want to make sure that they discuss all of the different possibilities and maybe call you back, right? It's important for you that they feel comfortable, and with these sentences, you've understood what it is the customer is looking for, and you've answered their questions in a very thorough manner. All right. Up next, here we are once again. All right, so what I've done is I've planned for you um, some sentences I thought we could try. And what I'm going to ask you to do is maybe take out a piece of paper, a scrap piece of paper, and a pencil or a pen. All right. Here you are at the top of the page. It says, plan a holiday from the information below. All right. Of course, this should be speaking. For me, this is speaking. I won't have the possibility of hearing you, but please try. All right. So I will be giving you the answers right after. All right. And as you can see below, it's separated into dates, different airports, and again, different sites, right? So on the left, we have dates that go from the 28th of June to the 12th of July. And the second row says 12th of July to the 26th of July. And lastly, we have the 26th of July till the 9th of August. Different airport destinations there. We have Genova, Le Valdigi, which is nice to see, and Nice. On the right, we have different sites. So be careful. Whoever lands at the Genova airport has the 5 territories by the sea, the famous Cinque Terre. Who lands at the Le Valdigi airport has a tour of the Langhe vineyards, which is, again, as we said before, very interesting, with the tasting of the wines in the vineyards. Who lands in Nice has the Côte d'Azur, which is also a wonderful destination, if you wish. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Try and see if you can invent some sentences between the dates, the airports, and the different sites. What would you say if I came to you and asked for some information? All right, so here we are. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. If you need anything, please feel free to write down on the chat. Thank you. All right, everyone. So what I'm going to do, just in case someone's not finished and needs a little bit more time, is I'm going to ask you directly, is there someone who would like to share a sentence that they wrote down? If anyone is game to speak up, and I'm here to listen, it would be very nice if you would like to share one of your sentences with us. Ah, very nice. All right. So, should you like to tour? Oh, I'm sorry. All right. So let me open up the chat there. Just a minute. Here I am. All right. So, should you like to tour the Lange Vineyards, we can offer a full package from July 12th to July 26th. That includes a flight ticket to Le Valdigi, which is the nearest airport catering to the area. Yes, that's wonderful. Good job. That's lovely. Very, very well said. Just a bit, maybe a little sentence which is very long. I suggest maybe making two sentences at least out of that. I believe that's a conversation you wrote down there, Giovanni, if I'm not mistaken. So, hello to you, Giovanni. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your response, your answer. Very nice, very nicely put. It's a good conversation. Again, if this were to be something written, I suggest you divide it and make your long sentence a little bit shorter, which is something that I always suggest. All right. Uh, Thank you for sharing that. It's a wonderful, wonderful answer. Does anyone else feel like sharing? Also, vocally, because that was a speaking exercise. If someone would like to share vocally, I'm willing to listen. It would be very nice. All right. Let me just give you some of my answers. Not as distinct as Giovanni's, I have to say. Again, what I'm going to do is just give you some introduction phrases and you can complete them, right? So, come and visit, for example, come and visit. Would you consider? I would like to speak to you about, right? And uh, if you like this kind of tour, so I'm going to share my screen once again, just so I can look at the different answers. Would you be interested in visiting the five terre, the Cinque Terre landing in Genova? That would be wonderful, right? I think that Giovanni nailed it. I don't think I could say it any better than someone who is in the business. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue, and this time we're going to look at some grammar. Here we are. So present continuous is usually a tense that we use when having a conversation at the phone, and also in different ways. We often use the present continuous. And here you are, you have a beautiful operator there, a blonde lady. She's just asking herself, when do I use the present continuous tense? All right, let's look at this once again. We use the present continuous for current or temporary activities. For example, I'm working very hard at the moment. We also use the present continuous for future arrangements. Are you taking any holidays in July? Or my friend Paul isn't coming with me. All right, so present continuous once again is subject plus the verb to be in its auxiliary form plus the action verb of the sentence in ing. So remember, some verbs are not used in the present continuous. For example, we cannot say Jane knows our good travel agent. It doesn't work. Jane is knowing a good travel agent. Which one do you think is the correct answer? It's the first one. Jane knows a good travel agent In this sense, the present simple is used because Jane knows a travel agent now, and she knows a travel agent every day. So to express what we do on a normal daily routine, we use the present simple. You cannot say Jane is knowing a good travel agent right now. Remember, the trick words there for present continuous is now or at the moment. All right. So just to be sure you've understood, what I've done for you is prepared a small exercise. It says you try. Which of the following exercises are for you correct? All right. I'm just going to read them over and then I'm going to give you some time to think about it. Always if you have that scrap piece of paper beside you. All right. So which of the following exercises are correct? Number 1, she's being a travel agent. Is that correct or incorrect? Number 2, Oscar isn't having time to meet Jane. Is that correct or incorrect? If it's incorrect, how would you rephrase the sentence? Number 3, he's traveling to Cuneo next week. Number 4, we're not going on the bus tour. Number 5, we're leaving at 3 tomorrow afternoon. Number 6, are they leaving for Rome tomorrow? All right, so there are 6 sentences. I will give you about 4 minutes to complete these sentences, go over them, so you can tell me if they are correct or incorrect. And if they are incorrect, how would you rephrase them? Again, I would invite you to participate. So if you're willing, if you're game, if you want to write down your answers in the chat section, I will be looking at those answers. All right? All right. If you need anything, of course, we are right here for you. All right, everyone. Is there someone who would like to share with us his or her answers? Okay, I guess. Okay, I know it's not easy. It's not easy. When we talk about grammar, everyone is always pretty edgy. All right, it's normal. It's normal. let's look at the answers together, and let me try to explain to you the differences so you can understand and you can avoid making these possible errors. All right. So, first off, she's being a travel agent. Well, she is a travel agent. She was a travel agent yesterday. She is a travel agent today, and she will be a travel agent tomorrow. She's not being. So, in this sense, when you talk about your profession, what you do in life, then we don't actually use the present continuous, all right? In the sense, you are a travel agent, all right? So in this first sentence, present continuous is not the tense that should be used, all right? Number 2, Oscar isn't having time to meet Jane. Well, Oscar doesn't have the time to meet Jane, hasn't got the time to meet Jane. Now, those could have been the good answers. Once again, Oscar doesn't have time to meet Jane. Oscar hasn't got the time to meet Jane. Both answers could have been correct because they both have the same meaning. In this sense, Oscar hasn't got, there is one action verb in that sentence, all right, which is in the present simple tense. And if you say Oscar doesn't have, in that sense, you have do as your auxiliary verb, but have is always the action of your sentence, always in the present simple, even though it's a negative sentence, not having in the present continuous tense. So number 2 is definitely a mistake. Number 3, he's traveling to Cuneo next week. He's traveling to Cuneo next week. That is a correct sentence. In the sense, they're using the present continuous, and it's present continuous with an intention towards the future. So it's the first future. It's called present continuous with an intention towards the future. How do I know? Because it says next week. Next week being future wise. So he's traveling. He's traveling is an action verb. He's traveling ing, present continuous, with next week. Instead of next week, we could also have put a time, for example, or a part of the day. So, for example, he's traveling to Cuneo at 3 p.m. today. Again, that would have been present continuous with an intention towards the future. Or he's traveling this evening. All right. Number 4, we're not going on the bus tour. We're not going on the bus tour. It's a negative sentence, but it's correct. Present continuous. We're not going on the bus tour. It's an action that's taking place in this moment or in a moment in time, right? Number 5, you're leaving at 3 tomorrow afternoon. Is this correct? Yes, it is correct. It's a correct sentence. Also, again, because it says 3, so it's time, and tomorrow afternoon, a part of the day in a near future, present continuous with a future intention. Number 6, are they leaving for Rome tomorrow? Yes, it's correct. A very nice sentence. Are they leaving for Rome tomorrow? All right, so present continuous in this sentence is largely used, and it's correct. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I hope this has been useful for you and that you've nailed these exercises and that you've guessed which one is correct and which one is incorrect. All right, let's keep on going. Different tenses for different reasons. Okay, let's look at this. On the right, you have different tenses. And let's just make sure you recognize these tenses in some sentences that you use every day, just to make sure you don't make these mistakes. All right. What I'm going to do once again is go over the sentences with you, and then I'm going to give you a good 5 minutes to do it. Please feel free once again to write down and just to share your answers if you feel like it, if you're game to do so. Let's read over the sentences. All right. So, what can I do for you? The British Airways operator closed the boarding for the flight. Are you looking for a road trip adventure? Are you going to drive to Val d'Aosta next week? Will you be traveling alone? If you like, I can reserve the Loire Valley tour for two. Shall I make reservations for two at the Marriott? Let's search for the best offer. Book now. They've been trying to fix the server since this morning. She has started packing. I hope you had a good time in Camargue. They had already prepared the room with the balcony. All right, now these sentences are typical sentences that I'm sure you use in your everyday working life, and the answers are on the right. Now, please don't count the sentences on the left and the answers on the right. I do believe they don't agree. Just be careful and see if you can guess the correct answer there. On the right, you have the tenses, future be going to, modal verbs, if you remember what the modal verbs are. For example, could, should, ought to, would. Past perfect, present continuous, imperative, past simple, present perfect continuous, invitation sentence, future will, present simple, and conditional. All right. So what I'm going to do again is I'm going to give you 5 good minutes, and I hope you enjoyed this lunch. It's good exercise. All right, it's good exercise. See if you understand, and if you want to share in the chat, it would be very nice. All right. If you need anything, All right, everyone. So I just want to say thank you for those of you who sent me their answers. And some of you did pretty good, pretty good. So congratulations to you. Not easy to understand the different tenses there. All right, let's go over these tenses. All right. So what can I do for you? What can I do for you? This is absolutely present simple. It's present simple. That's all it is. Present simple. What can I do? The verb is do. The auxiliary verb is can. And of course, do is conjugated at the first person subject singular. So what can I do for you? All right, that's present simple. The British Airways operator closed the boarding for the flight. The British operator closed. The verb in the sentence is to close, and it is conjugated to the past simple, being a regular verb. So the answer for number 2 there in the light blue is past, simple past, or past simple. We say it in two ways. They mean the same thing. Are you looking, for a road trip adventure? Are you looking for a road trip adventure? This should come easy to you because we just finished doing the present continuous. It's a question, of course, and it's are you looking for present continuous, the verb being to look. So, are you looking for present continuous? Next up, we have are you going to drive to Val d'Aosta next week? Are you, again, question, going to drive? This is future, be going to. The action of the sentence, the verb of the sentence is to drive. It's the first future right after present continuous with a future intention. So going to is the structure of your sentence there. It's the structure. You need to put going to. Whatever the action in your sentence might be, you can change it. You can change it. For example, let's say to run. All right. Are you going to run in the park in an hour's time? Are you going to run? Right. So it doesn't matter what the action is of the sentence, but the structure has to be with going to, which is different from the present continuous. So if you go back to the sentence, the previous sentence there, are you looking for? As you can see, the verb is in ing, just like going to. But there is no going to in the first sentence because the structure of the sentence is present continuous and not future be going to. All right. I hope I'm making myself clear. Please feel free to write down on the chat if this is too difficult for you or if you have trouble understanding. All right. Will you be traveling alone is the next sentence. Will you be traveling alone? Traveling being the action verb of the sentence. Will being future. Future will. I actually made things a little bit easier for you there. I wrote down will in the future tense just to make your life easier. Will you be traveling alone? The answer would be yes, I will. All right. With that in mind, let's just go back and answer the questions above. Are you looking for a road trip adventure? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. All right. Or do remember that is not just the second subject singular, but is also the second subject plural. So the answer could be for two people or more. In this sense, you could answer, yes, we are, or no, we're not. Second sentence question there is, are you going to drive to Val d'Aosta next week? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I can't wait to get there. That would be a good answer. Will you be traveling alone? Will you be traveling alone? Yes, I will. No, I won't. I'm traveling with my husband. I'm traveling with my wife. We're going together. All right. Next sentence. If you like, I can reserve the Loire Valley tour for two. All right. There's no period there. There's a period missing. If you like, I can reserve Valley tour for two. If is conditional. So there you are. It's considered to be a conditional tense because there's if at the front of the sentence. Next up, shall I make reservations for two at the Marriott? Of course, you know quite well that the Marriott is a line of hotels. It's a chain of hotels. Shall. Where does shall come from? It's a modal verb. It's an invitation. Shall I make reservations for two at the Marriott? Very good. Very nice sentence. Very elegant sentence. Let's search for the best offer. The let's in the front is an abbreviation of let and us. Us. For we. All right. So this said, there's an abbreviation there, putting the apostrophe, and it becomes let us. Let us do something. So instead of saying let us do something, it's abbreviated to let's. And this is the way that the English have of inviting someone to do something with them. Let's search for the best offer. Let's do it together. Let us do it. So it's an invitation, all right? It's another way of saying, why don't we? Why don't we search for the best offers? Next one says, book now. Book now is imperative. It's, as you can see, there's an exclamation mark there. So we use it in the imperative form. Next sentence. They've been trying to fix the server since this morning. They've been trying, but they haven't succeeded. They've been trying. That is, ladies and gentlemen, it is past. It is past. What kind of past is it? It's the past perfect. All right. And there you go. Sorry, did I get that confused? They've been trying. It's the present perfect continuous. Sorry, once again. She has started packing. She has started packing. As you can see there, you have has, which is your auxiliary, and it's in the present form. But the action of this sentence is to start, which is past. So she has started, that is present perfect. It's an action that took place in the past, but that is not concluded. All right. I hope you had a good time in Camargue. I hope you had a good time. Again, past, they had already prepared. They had already prepared the room with the balcony. Past perfect. Past perfect. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to stop for just 2 minutes because this was a complicated screen. Is there anyone who would like to share their opinion on these sentences or ask any questions? Feel free to do so. All right. Now, this is not easy. Also, if you have it in exercises, specific exercises, it's much easier. But when you speak every day in conversations, it's easy to get confused. It's easy to get confused. All right. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to continue. And as you can see, we've reached the end of our lesson today. It started off a little bit hectic at the beginning because we had technical problems, but it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad. All right. So what I'm going to do here is go back And here I am, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to say thank you for joining me. Thank you for your attention, for your patience. And I'd like to thank my service manager. And what I'm going to do is pass you pass the conversation right away to my service manager, which is here to help me. Thank you once again. Have a good afternoon. Goodbye.